So they started shutting down every business. And then they got a couple businesses can stay open, essential businesses. But no, the pharmacies, medical stores, and liquor stores. Liquor stores. We will do more about that in the next vlog, but liquor stores, just note that. Then next, they started shutting down outside. Ron King reported that they had a stay-at-home for California. I'm like, God, stay at home. So we can't come out. We on punishment at this point. That's what y'all saying. Okay. Pre-K posted, if the crackheads downtown still alive by April 15th, I'm going outside. And I agree. How the people outside is fine, but we got to stay in? Like, something ain't making sense. I'm just wondering when the hell we start believing the news again. I mean, these cats, for the last 10 years, been notoriously caught in all kind of lies. I thought we agreed that we would search for alternate media and research shit for ourselves compared to just believing what they said on the news. I thought it was like a memo or something. I remember signing something. No, like pop culture itself had agreed that the news was basically lying. That's where you get the whole fake news thing from. That wasn't something Trump said. That was prior to Trump, where we was talking about fake news. So why all of a sudden is we believe in the news? It's like Trevor Noah from The Daily Show. Used to be with Jon Stewart. It was a little bit more edgy. That's kind of like Colbert and Rachel. Rachel is a real news channel, but, you know, she kind of put like humor to it. Shows like The Daily Show and Colbert Report was basically comedic satire, and all he was doing was picking apart news reports and set up to look like this is the news.
Thanks for staying with us. I'm Bill O'Reilly in the Culture War segment tonight. The Colbert Report on Comedy Central. It's a very successful program that owes everything to me. Each night, host Stephen Colbert tries to convince Americans that he is me.
This show is not about me. No, this program is dedicated to you, the heroes. And who are the heroes? The people who watch this show. Average, hard-working Americans. You're not the elites. You're not the country club crowd.
Now, who does that remind you of? With us now is Stephen Colbert.
Bill, thank you for having me on. This is an amazing honor. I want you to know that I spend so much time in the world that is spinning all the time that to be in the no-spin zone actually gives me vertigo.
Okay. Are you ready for the interview?
And that's the comedy. That's like, these guys is obviously lying. Like, they killed it. They made their bones on that. That's how they like made careers, was picking apart the fact that the news is lying. But anyway, it was an episode of Trevor Noah 4 years ago. So it was right before Trump got elected. They did like a little skit seeing off into the future where everything was messed up now. It was an economic collapse. Trevor was like in this abandoned news studio, and he was like in this little, like tiny little, like he in a cubby hole like this. It was all fucked up. Everything was messed up.
I'm taking a risk. I'm risking my life and yours by broadcasting the show.
And then even they had that report on John Oliver. They took him off the stage and all that stuff.
You realise that egg safety standards actually vary so widely from state to state that there is a... No, guys, please, just give me the decency. Let me finish the bit. Let me complete the egg bit, guys. Now? It has to be now?
That was kind of like V for Vendetta, when that happened on V for Vendetta.
Would you please give a very warm welcome to our own Chancellor, Adam Sutler?
Basically, the TV host makes fun of the guy who rules the country with an iron fist.
We threw out the censor-approved script and shot a new one that I wrote this morning.
Oh, my God.
But you're wrong, Mr. Dietrich. The terrorist was never a serious concern.
Oh, really? Chancellor. Are you saying that he's not still alive and active?
Terrorist has been neutralized.
Oh, my God! Chancellor! Look! The terrorist! The terrorist!
Get him at last! And now for all the world to see. I am your Chancellor! How dare! I am the Chancellor!
So what he was saying there was the Chancellor is the terrorist, or the state is the terrorist. And it ended pretty bad for the talk show host.
Gordon?
Quickly, hide!
funny now, is it? Funny man.
Basically, Big Brother's watching and all that.
Gentlemen, you have had 4 hours. You had better have results. Mr. Creedy.
The Bailey area is quarantined. All significant witnesses have been detained.
Good. Mr. Etheridge.
That comes from the movie 1984.
A later bulletin has just been issued by the Ministry of Peace.
So like all of these little things, when the economic collapse, and Trevor Noah is doing his show from like a cubby hole or something. I mean, like,
We now know that one of the easiest ways to stop the spread of coronavirus is just to have everybody wear a mask.
Like seriously, like this little section of the earth, this little corner of my apartment, like what in the hell is going on? This shit is kind of crazy. My homegirl Shay Bertoli shared this. I just love her, but great person. But I'm just say Lady C and Dr. Z for right now, cause I butcher their names. But the comments is what really got me. Mike wrote, I work in a medical examiner's office. Suicides and murders are being classified as COVID deaths if they carry the antibody. It's a numbers game and a shame. That shit was shared 11,000 times. As far as Dr. Z, he had cured 699 people. As far as my numerology people, 699. Why it couldn't just be 7? I'm just saying. And it was the hydrochloroquine or whatever and zinc. This next one was a post from the New York Post about a doctor who treated himself with ginger, turmeric, and garlic. What I like about this one was the date. My numerology people, nobody, anybody, never mind. Then it just started to be one after the other. This one right here is supposed to be 2 different places, Italy and New York, but clearly the same stuff in the background, the same instruments, computers, all that. Don't believe me? They admitted it. So there you go. Next one, Fox used a dummy. They the big old dummies. Oh, this was funny. I mean, the memes was just killing me. I swear to God, this post said, hey, somebody better come get their grandmother for I DDT this bitch on Crip. I said, man, get the hell out of here. Wow. So then I'm like, well, maybe that's where that fit in. Because who the hell has a 27th anniversary? They didn't have a 17, they didn't have a 26. So, like, why all of a sudden a 27th anniversary? You remember what Red Rum said?
Who gave us the fucked up name and the fucked up Jack of the Gangsters? The government, because they needed somebody to take the eyes off of what they do. They're the real gangsters. They take countries.
And for those who don't know, Red Rum is the guy that came up with the concept of banging on wax. He got with the other people and they created banging on wax. Shout out to Al Prophet for doing that video too. And it's just going around anonymously on social media around this time. You know niggas gonna be wearing their rags because they gotta cover their face. So like, what was that about? Dave Chappelle said, being awake isn't cool. It means having to dumb down 98% of your conversation every day so you don't sound like a lunatic. So like at the beginning of this, these is the numbers they're reporting. Black folks 68% more likely to get. The next is white folks with 11%. But if I repeated that those was the numbers reported, you sound like a complete lunatic. Because how is that possible? What is black folks doing different than white folks? Makes no sense. So I got something interesting for you. My mama white, my daddy black. So do I mix the 68% with the 11? Am I like a higher risk because I'm mixed? Just make it make sense. That's all I'm saying, people. My cousin, It's Only One Rose, shared this. I found it a little bit crazy how that stuff lined up, because I found this. Spanish flu, 1918, with the induction of the radio waves, all the way up to 4G with the H1N1 in 2009, and now we got 5G. It says, every time the world gets an upgrade on its electromagnetic field, it messes people breathing up clearly. And what did Dr. Sebi say? Well, Dr. Sebi said a lot, but clearly y'all was not listening or thinking critical. Because look at this. 700 people got to get laid off from the hospital in Ohio. How? It just don't compute. If people are sick, why would y'all be laying people off? My man Clue shared this post about the mayor of Youngstown speaking on the National Guard heading to the city, which is clearly seen here in one of J.B. Bankston's friends' posts. But I got a question. All right, so April 2nd, I'm about to look at this with critical thinking. It's addressed to the city. The people in the city is from the mayor about COVID-19. It says, as you are aware, Governor DeWine has dispatched National Guard units across the state of Ohio to assist in the fight of COVID-19. That dispatch includes guards assisted in Youngstown and the greater Mahoney Valley. The men and women who have been mobilized are performing vital logistic tasks like distributing supplies and scouting sites for mobile hospitals. Mobile hospitals? Y'all just shut down a hospital. That don't make sense. What mobile thing? The thing in the parking lot? What are we talking about here? So it's a whole bunch of people that need help because we need mobile stuff. And did y'all see a lot of National Guard distributing supplies? I didn't see that either. I mean, I seen it on the news, but I wasn't around the place where they was doing it at. So just make it make sense, people. Hands down, my favorite photo of 2020. And shout out to Q from WorldStar. This was on WorldStar where I seen it. Go watch it right now. The nurse was talking about how this is straight bull and what y'all feeling is the effect of 5G. Meanwhile, the memes kept coming fast and furious. I can't forget about this one. It says, I know the CDC and the WHO seems pretty concerned about this COVID-19, but some of my friends that got straight C's in high school told me it's actually not a problem at all and just a part of the Illuminati's election year disease initiative, so I don't know who to believe. And I'm gonna leave out who actually shared that because I tried to talk to this person and it ain't really hit me back. But I need to make my bones about this. Real quick, I'm gonna say some simple ass shit. Because while I did not graduate from high school, I got my GED, but I didn't graduate from high school. I do know my shapes. I know circles. I know continents. Both of these look like America. Up here are some circles, down here are some circles. These circles up here is for 5G coverage, and these circles down here is for coronavirus outbreak. Now, I may not be a scientist. I may not have a college degree. But I know my motherfucking shapes. This next one, it says extremely alarming. Coronavirus stimulus law allows the Federal Reserve to hold secret meetings on corporate bailouts. Now, that already happened, y'all. This happened with the Occupy Wall Street movement, 09, 08. I mean, what the fuck is going on here? But this is cool. Nobody's paying attention and nobody's critically thinking what the fuck is going on. Again, reminds me of 9/11. The Patriot Act allowed these people to have different laws where they could meet behind secret doors and shit. Like, I'm just saying. And look, I ain't got no problem with it. I'm just saying, as far as what I'm experiencing, this is what's happening. This is actually happening. Here go the evidence of it. It's everywhere. It's in front of you. So not surprisingly, the next thing that started to happen was protests popping up across the U.S. over these stay-at-home restrictions. I know back in Ohio, in the capital, Columbus, during the day, they was banging on the government building, actual office of Mike DeWine, the governor, telling them to open up the government. And then later on, it turned into riot and people was breaking windows and stuff downtown. It was crazy.
Protest, get your point across, but it's imperative for everyone to keep the social distance, for everyone to do everything you can to slow down the spread.
Michael wrote, I hope when this goes sideways, they open up their own wallet to pay for it. I think he was referring to the Trump hat. Because I'm going to be honest, it's the first thing I seen when I seen this post. But did you notice this? Look, who was that? So not only is that the mask for the main character in the movie V for Vendetta, but it's an actual guy named Guy Fawkes. Look it up. He lived during the 1600s. He was executed for trying to blow up the House of Lords, along with a guy named Robert Catesby who planned to assassinate King James and restore a Catholic monarch to the throne. But if you ask me, Robert Catesby, or Catesby, he set up Guy Fawkes. Somebody sent an anonymous letter and that's how they got him. And for the only thing you have left. So V for Vendetta is more like a philosophical story. Because nobody gets shot 150,000 times and lives. But just follow the storyline. It's pretty interesting. My turn. So he proceeds to beat the absolute hell out of the whole room. I mean, he lightning fast. They can't even reload their guns. But just follow along. There's meaning behind this. So he keeps shooting him. He can't die.
Why won't you die? Beneath this mask, there is more than flesh. Beneath this mask, there is an idea, Mr. Creedy. And ideas are bulletproof.
So the mask in this movie represented the oppressed people fighting against the monarch or the state. I mean, they marched on the downtown, and unlike real life, with the help of his companion, Guy Fawkes, or V for Vendetta, made his destination, his body covered in explosives, and actually blew up the building with Big Ben and everything. And as they sat and watched the fireworks, the cop who was chasing after V asked his companion, who was he? And she said, my mother, my father, you, me, basically all of the people who were being oppressed in this movie. And believe it or not, they celebrate this every year. See, Guy Fawkes became synonymous with the gunpowder plot, and the failure of which had been commemorated in the UK as Guy Fawkes Night. Every November 5th, traditionally they burn an effigy on a bonfire and is commonly accompanied by fireworks. Real shit. But meanwhile, it's just weird early April 2020. These are shots of Vegas from my Aunt Joyce. Like, Vegas? Vegas ain't never supposed to look like this. Something ain't right. Meanwhile, I catch this post from Mark Young back in Ohio. Governor DeWine extended the stay-at-home order to May 1st. What a coincidence. That's my birthday. My homegirl Rose posted, so was we off house arrest May 1st? That's right, let my people go for my birthday. But as they say, the internet is undefeated. This is the same photo. One is just closer than, literally the same photo. The internet just be catching these cats. Like, look at this. It's the same exact photo. One is further away, one is closer. And basically they cut off one side of the photo. One of these supposed to be LA and the other one's supposed to be Jacksonville, Florida. But it's the same photo, just closer. Crazy. That's why I say it remind me of 9/11. Now, real quick, I'm not saying people didn't die in 9/11, and I'm not saying people ain't dying now. What I'm saying is they smart. Reasons why I say they smart. Reason number 1, anthrax. Weapons grade anthrax at that. Not more than 30 days after September 11th, Bob Stevens was the first casualty. Bob Stevens works for American media. So in back of my mind, I was like, why would somebody be killing the people from the media? Because that's what came next. Only people from the media was getting poisoned by this. Usually a terrorist will say they did it. So that was kind of strange. But you know how you can find this out for yourself? Really quick, easy way.
Look it up!
Reason number 2, building number 7. Now, most people don't know about building number 7. We know about the North Tower and the South Tower that was hit by these big old jumbo planes, and it's reported that they got so hot that eventually the whole building just pancaked and came down on itself. And that's because of the jet fuel was so hot and all this, that, and the other. So that's what we know to have happened from what was reported. But building number 7 wasn't hit with no plane, but it came down the same way. So what was widely reported that day is it looked like a controlled demolition. The voice that you're about to hear next is Peter Jennings, very well-respected reporter from ABC. And he was basically telling what he's seen and what he felt about the situation, along with some other reporters. But this guy is very highly respected, and he was basically telling you what he was seeing as he was seeing it.
We have no idea what caused this. If you wish to bring anybody who's ever watched a building being demolished on purpose knows that if you're going to do this, you have to get at the under infrastructure of a building and bring it down.
The building that was hit by the plane has just completely collapsed. The entire building has just collapsed, as if a demolition team set off. When you see the old demolitions of these old buildings, it folded down on itself, and it is not there anymore.
That should be it.
Thanks very much,
completely collapsed.
The whole side has collapsed?
The whole building has collapsed.
Generally speaking, for a building to collapse in on itself like that, it would seem to indicate that there could have been an explosion, a bomb planted on the ground that would make the building collapse within itself.
And now at this point, I still don't have a college degree or a high school diploma. I got a GED, but yeah. Reason number 3. This is a list of the 19 hijackers. 4 planes, 5 people on 3 planes, 4 people on 1 plane. Now, what if I told you damn near 9 people is still alive? No, for real. 9 people is still alive. And it's an easy way that you can figure this out for yourself. And it's real easy.
Look it up!
And then the guy stood up and was alive in the Middle East, and they pulled it and said, oh, that was a mistake. He wasn't a hijacker, and the story just disappeared.
So what about the hijackers? It's the funniest thing, but at least 9 of them are still alive. Walid al-Shari is a Saudi Airlines pilot in Casablanca, Morocco. Wael M. al-Shari is alive and well. Abdulaziz al-Amari is a Saudi Airlines pilot living in Saudi Arabia. Mohand al-Shari is alive in Saudi Arabia. Khalid al-Madar is a computer programmer in Mecca. Salam al-Hamzi works at a chemical plant in Yanbo, Saudi Arabia. Saeed al-Ghamdi is training to be a pilot in Tunis. Ahmed al-Nami is an administrative supervisor for Saudi Airlines. And last but not least, Mohammed Atta's father claimed to receive a phone call from his son on September 12th.
On the 27th of September, CBS tracks down Salem al-Hazbi. According to the
craziest part about this is internationally, this is like a common thing. They know that the American government did something. Now, I'm not saying what they did, but they know that these hijackers are still alive, supposedly alive. Nobody apologized to these people. American consulate in different places had, wrote letters of apologies to different people. But meanwhile, the FBI is looking for them. But the FBI ain't looking for them because these people is alive. They didn't contacted the news. They didn't say, hey man, I didn't do that. So for us in America, a lot of times I don't think like we really be thinking critical when we hear information. We just go along with what the news say. But the crazy part is, year after year after year, they've been found wrong. This is an Italian actor, actually, and it's being broadcast in Britain. So they are sharing the information. We're not getting the information. There's documents. And how does the international news differ from America? News is news. If it's truth, is truth. So there was some type of manipulation of information to where, we didn't get the full scope of what was going on, and it happened here. You know what I'm saying? So piece by piece by piece, when you put it together and you look into exactly what was happening, what I'm saying is the story don't hold up. So I'm not saying I know what happened, but I'm kind of using critical thinking to eliminate what didn't happen.
The following day, the 23rd of September, the Daily Telegraph publishes the protestations of innocence of Saeed al-Ghamdi and Ahmed al-Nami, both of them still alive and well, and pilots for Saudi Arabian Airlines.
So as late as the 23rd of September, international news companies was publishing the innocence of these people who they say was on the planes and died. Them people dead, but no, them people are alive. So then there's no wonder why all of a sudden there's news media people who are being poisoned in America. It's almost like somebody didn't want the story to come out. Now again, that could be speculation, but you just got to use critical thinking. All I know is a circle, a square is a square. These are some basic things. It's critical thinking. Like this, for an example.
All 5 set off metal detectors and are subjected to additional screening. Yet, all of them proceed to board American Airlines Flight 77, which is described by the Washington Post as unusually light on passengers. Out of 188 seats, 64 would be filled. In fact, all 4 planes involved in 9/11 would be at approximately 30% capacity. The hijackers will board alongside Barbara Olson, the wife of Solicitor General Ted Olson, and a number of employees from Boeing, Raytheon, the Department of Defense, Lockheed Martin, American Airlines, the Navy, Army, and other government agencies.
Look it up!
And I kid you not, Youngstown, Ohio, the city I'm from, always finds a way to be part of history somehow. I mean, look, this is The Today Show with Al Roker, the morning of 9/11 before everything happened.
And good advice, hug a nurse today. Where are you from?
Youngstown, Ohio.
Youngstown, what are you doing
St.
here?
Elizabeth.
Just hanging out?
Just on vacation.
Who are you here with?
My son and my husband.
All right.
Look it up!
And I'm serious. I'm going to leave a link in the description. It's like 6 hours long. It's the whole Today Show. And, here's the actual intro of the Today Show. This is how it starts. See if you caught what I caught.
That may have been the last shot Michael Jordan will ever take in the NBA.
Maybe not. Good morning. Air Jordan is taxiing for takeoff. Legendary basketball great Michael Jordan is getting ready to return to the game he loves today, Tuesday, September 11th, 2001.
From NBC News, this is Today with Katie Couric and Matt Lauer, live from Studio 1A in Rockefeller Plaza.
And good morning. Welcome to Today on a Tuesday morning. I'm Matt Lauer.
And I'm Katie Couric. What's that Dolly Parton song? Here we go again.
Yeah.
And just when you thought it can't be because people would have spoke up, well, people did speak up. Here's Jon Stewart speaking on behalf of the people who was poisoned, the rescue workers that got there and held that toxic smoke. He went to Congress to speak on behalf of those people. The guy behind him, that's one of the rescue workers that came out, and he tells the story.
He went into Daily Show Jon Stewart, and it was majestic. He not only chastised a chamber of the United States government, he also articulated our pain and suffering of 18 years, our frustration, our everything in one. And he just, in less than 10 minutes, he changed the direction of what we were doing.
How did Building 7 come down? You tell me, my brother. There's 1,550 architects, engineers, and physicists. These are the experts that say it was thermite and explosives.
NYC Can was one of the first organizations put together. It was the victims' family, survivors, and first responders. And even though there was funds put aside if you signed a contract saying you wouldn't sue, these people did not take it because all they wanted was answers. Namely, what happened to Building 7?
The 9/11 Commission. Not one word in the 9/11 Commission report about the collapse of Building 7. I believe the judge who is presiding over the matter, his name is Judge Lerner, when Building 7 was brought up in the courtroom, he said, "Building what?"
Look it up!
So this is where you get the whole truther movement. You know, after this time, you know, you got 06, 07, these people was complaining, their family members died. That rolls right into the housing market bubble had busted. So then you had people rioting, they out in the street because not only with that collapse, it messed up the economy from a stock market point of view. People lost their 401ks and the CEOs got golden parachutes. So people was kind of like outraged. I mean, it was just so much going on in the system where they now was Occupy Wall Street. They was marching. And somebody was clever enough to come up with a decentralized currency that's not tied to a central bank. That's where Bitcoin comes in. Because with Bitcoin, you know, it's a hidden transaction, it's a private transaction, and they can't steal your money. But with all that being said, what does all this mean? And I hate to do it, but it goes right back to V for Vendetta.
So do you know what's going to happen?
No. It was a feeling. But I can guess. There's so much chaos, someone will do something stupid. And when they do, things will turn nasty.
Rioters were arrested in Brixton.
And then Sutler will be forced to do the only thing he knows how to do. At which point, all V needs to do is keep his word. And then...
I mean, so it's a lot. I mean, one thing after another as far as I'm concerned. So then that brings us to Easter. It was Easter Sunday, April 12th. Old dog called me. Little Marcus died. I'm like, damn, then this is his nephew. This my little homie. It's like, man, wow, man. On Easter? It's Easter Sunday. I'm like, damn, for real, Youngstown? Like, this is crazy. You know, you think it just when it can't get no worse. 7 o'clock in the morning, hours later, it's the 13th, Monday, Easter Monday. I get an email, and guess what? I just got terminated. They got to cut back because of COVID-19. So it's like, God damn, I can't win for losing. So basically, I got terminated due to COVID-19. So what does that mean? Well, basically, got fired. Unexpectedly had to drive from Atlanta, Georgia, all the way to Youngstown, Ohio, driving all through the night, only stopping in Louisville, Kentucky to pick up a few things. So needless to say, I was dead tired. I mean, I had woke up driving a few times, but with no incidents and accidents at all, I made it home safely, just in time to meet with the gas company was turning on my gas because my gas had been turned off. I mean, I was fucked up before I left, man, but I mean, it could be worse, right? Oh yeah, I forgot. I'm a 40-year-old rapper, unemployed, back in the ghetto, and on welfare for the first time in my adult life due to COVID-19. So I guess it is pretty messed up. How'd it get this way? To tell that story, I need to go back. Yo. What's up, Pablo? What's going on, Sonny?
That's how my life been going for the past year. No job, no unemployment or health care. Moved back home, applying for welfare. Back in the hood where I started, never felt weird. I'm glad to be here. This whole world in a panic. It's biological warfare, global pandemic. And me, I'm just happy to be what I had planned to be, or not to be. Me, Sean Hammerstrom.